All right, class, let's take a look at our last board here, Cold War. Essential question, how did the Cold War change Europe? And there's no question mark. Question mark. Fall of the Soviet Union. The cost of the empire was too high to maintain all of the satellite states and the Soviet Union itself. Middle class began to become more dominant in the Soviet Union. The rise of oil prices in the 70s really affected the Soviet Union. The Soviet army was drained from fighting in Afghanistan. All of those things put together really hurt the Soviet Union. Now, there was a coup in Moscow in 1991. Hardliners tried to overthrow Gorbachev, but they failed. At that point, another gentleman, Boris Yeltsin, he then became elected as president of Russia from 1991 to 2000. You know, the name was changed back to Russia, no longer a communist country, the Soviet Union. In December 25th, 1991, Soviet Union dissolved into 15 separate republics. The Russian challenges. Transition to the market economy was very difficult. 1998, financial crisis in Russia, GDP drops 15%, unemployment rises from 5 to 13%, hyperinflation up to 86%. Russian citizens experienced kind of an identity crisis. Many of them were born during the communist time and they didn't know any other ideals other than communism. Conservatives try to overthrow Yeltsin, but Yeltsin sends in the tanks and at least 120 die. So this was a time that was still very tumultuous, and there were still coups trying to take place. Now, down in Chechnya, there was a Muslim republic, fights for independence. Troops had to put down numerous uprisings during the 1990s. Vladimir Putin takes over. Yeltsin resigns due to poor health. Putin is very popular after increases in the economy and putting down the Chechnyan violence. Putin then handpicks Dmitry Medvedev as a successor, and this was more recently, and then Putin is now in his third term. So this gentleman, Dmitry, served 2008 to 2012, and just recently in 2012, Putin was elected president again. Now, Eastern Europe. Eastern European countries had a tough economic road back to match the Western European countries. Many countries reformed in the Baltic region. You had Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Muslim republics such as Azerbaijan, Georgia, Kazakhstan. Eastern Europe, you had Belarus, Moldova, Ukraine. All of these countries reformed after the collapse of the Soviet Union. They were not satellite states such as Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, or Eastern Germany. They were actually part of the Soviet Union that was then dissolved. Now, one big problem was the civil war in Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia was united under a communist regime, but once the Soviet Union fell, in 1990, President Slobodan Milosevic sought a Serbian-dominated Yugoslavia. Croatia and Slovenia fought Serbia for freedom. Bosnia-Herzegovina tries to declare independence from Serbia. Serbia fights against Bosnia-Herzegovina. This was all taking place in the early 90s. Bosnian Serbs tried to kill all Muslims in an ethnic cleansing. Several hundred thousands died. You know, we've got historical, you know, the genocide that took place in the Holocaust. We had some genocide take place in Cambodia with Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. This ranks right up there with them. NATO tries to stop the killings. Eventually, Milosevic was removed in 2000 and put under arrest for war crimes from international charges, but he died in jail before they could convict him in 2006. But when the communists left Yugoslavia, it left a void, and there was quite a bit of infighting within these countries. And if you remember back to a few units ago, it was Serbia that sent in the assassin Gabriel Princip to start this century in World War I to kill Archduke Franz Ferdinand at the beginning of World War I. So once again, Serbia is at the heart of some of these problems that are taking place in the former Yugoslav nations. And it's much more calm there now, but nevertheless, when hundreds of thousands, several hundreds of thousands of people die, it's not good. All right, well that wraps it up. Remember, history's no mystery.